Alright, so strain of the day, episode 2.
It is.
Sun and ponytail.
Ponytail. Roll with it for now.
So today, to begin us off, to start us off,
It already began.
it has began prior, a bit prior. So today we have on deck an exclusive strain from an undisclosed dispensary, and it's called Gloo Cake. Now, from our guesses, we're saying that it's a mix of some sort of a glue, probably an original glue because of how crystally it is, and
Well, that'd be like a birthday cake.
a birthday
wedding
cake. Yeah, or wedding
like
cake. So,
I'm not sure how the cake is started. I'm
Right.
not sure what like the base for that is.
right,
It's
so
hard to say.
it's probably like a birthday cake or a wedding cake.
I mean, I'm sure I could sit here and research and find
Right,
out. but
right.
I'm not gonna do all that.
Birthday cake or a wedding cake mixed with some sort of glue, either like an original glue or a GG number, whatever, for. But it is keef caked.
And it's very impressive, actually. It really is.
Yeah, it's definitely impressive. So, today we're out of a spoon, glass spoon.
Well, it'll be able to restore all the flavor.
Right.
It's incredibly keefy. So like, there's just so much on it.
Right. Which, it's a little harsh
It is.
with all the keef.
But I mean, you can, with a good grinder, you can fill that thing up right now.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's a good looking strain for sure.
No,
I would say
it's actually, in my opinion, one of the more. I mean, it's worth the conversation. It's worth talking about. And that's another thing. I feel like we're only gonna like present certain strains that have that kind of authenticity.
oh, absolutely.
Where, like,
Yeah. Only the best of the
if
best.
I'm gonna bring it up, yeah,
Right.
it's gonna be worth being, it's
Right.
worth being brought up. So
Right.
we'll just go with it like that.
Mm-hmm. But it is amazing how each strain really has its own characteristics.
Differs,
It's
yeah.
amazing.
It is actually. It's like every single plant would be like a person.
It's
You know what I
almost
mean?
like
Where they say there's no two that are the same.
we as humans have created so many species of this plant.
Yeah,
Subspecies.
over a long period of time as well.
Like naturally, I don't think that this would happen.
No.
You know.
Fuck no.
So it's just crazy that us as humans have taken something to this level. You know.
Yeah. No. That's kind of a cool way of looking at it.
Yeah.
And it's been so restricted up until now. Like it's always been so looked down upon.
Still, we're not there yet.
I know, but we're a lot, better off than we, now than we were.
Oh, now, yeah, it's crazy
mean-
the way that it went from being this like dirty pothead stoner like stereotype of people that smoked to now like they're like trying to target like housewives, like
Yeah.
pair this yoga stretch with this strain and things like that. You know what I mean? Most productive to get the house done. This strain is the most productive to get the housework done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, isn't it crazy?
It is, but I'm with. I like.
I
that.
like it. Yeah, I think that's what it is. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, everybody has different, tolerances, and you have to definitely figure out which strains work best for you, and your dosage, what dosage works best for you.
Do you remember those commercials? Like, I mean, these commercials would have been definitely before our time, but I mean, it's there for us to get to. But how bad they used to bash like cannabis, you know,
Yeah.
and like the shit they used to put, like women.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And like have them sitting there with a cigarette hanging out of their mouth.
Yeah.
Like, look what it does to you, and this, that, and the third. But yet, you know.
Oh yeah, marijuana was paired in with heroin and crack.
Yeah,
you know what I
that's
mean?
I'm saying, yeah,
It's crazy.
No, it
and now, in a pandemic, it's a fucking essential. How crazy is that?
How about that?
Federally, it's not even
Good
legal.
Fucking point.
Federally, it's not even legal. But during a pandemic, it's an essential business.
That's a great fucking point. Hey, you can still get your cannabis.
Is that not medical then? Bro. Is that not medical? I know it's technically legally it's medical in our state, but federally, is that not at least medical federally?
So I got a question then for you. Did the dudes that they just fucking let out of jail, okay, were any of them dudes, were any of them guys what would have been qualified for? Remember they said when they were going to make it legal, they were going to release all the dudes that had like low level crimes, cannabis related.
And if the only thing that I found, because I went to a seminar with some state representatives at the courthouse, and it wasn't geared towards cannabis. It was about expunging your record, like the steps to take, and they were loosening some tape on it and stuff, like to try to help people.
And this is Pennsylvania, by the way.
This is Pennsylvania, yeah. So, what they were saying is, you know, for I was part of a drug and alcohol team, you know, and it became an epidemic. So, you know, there was a little less negative outlook. I mean, it was groundbreaking. You know what I mean, in a sense. When they turned it into a statewide epidemic, you know, overdoses and heroin use and opiate usage, because there were so many people dying. You know, that was a turning point to really look at it in a different aspect, and I think that, you know, we were able to, I don't want to say persuade, but we were able to educate the judges in the county.
Okay.
To like be more sympathetic. You know, empathetic.
Yeah, sure. I'll go with that.
And
now here. So I wonder, like, the dudes that they just let out, I wonder if any of them had qualified for
just marijuana charges,
for what would have been a similar or a related case to what would have been acceptable if they would have made it legal.
Yeah, I bet some of them.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that's already sort of like, you know, I want to see it go.
Yeah, but what I was getting to.
Oh yeah.
When I was at this little, I don't know, get together, with the state reps and stuff, they were saying that you still had to pay off all your fines.
Okay.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Before you could get your expungement. Okay.
Well, yeah, they need
because
that money.
Once they expunge that stuff, they have no paper trail for why they're billing you for something. If they wipe that clean, they have to wipe your debt clean as well.
I see what you're saying.
So that's why I think that's something that they can't get around with the cannabis thing yet. Because once they let those people free and wipe those people's records clean of those things, they couldn't be held accountable for the you know, the county pretty much having you pay your debt to society.
I mean, shit, bro.
As they say.
I'm still paying on fines. Currently. Holy fuck, I've been paying on fines since 2012.
So am I.
Shit, it's been 8 years.
Since 2012. Yep. And then I have prior fines that have been turned over to a collection agency. So from before that. Yeah. But I think that that's what's holding them back. They need to figure that out first because they don't want to take a hit like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a big hit.
Sure.
To lose those people in the jail system.
Yeah, well, they'll be
all together.
Yeah, they'll be replaced quickly, I'm sure. You know.
I'd hope not.
Well,
as humans,
I know.
I'd hope not.
I would hope not either, but
if you took that chunk out, I'd hope that it wouldn't get filled. I really would.
Well, that's the goal. That's
right.
That's
I understand
the idea.
that it's a big business, and yeah, they're gonna want to fill it with something, but be a little harder on the fucking child molesters.
Yeah,
you know
dude,
what I mean?
Talk about that.
Yeah.
Talk about that. Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah,
dude,
they go in and come right back out.
I noticed it when we was in there, and then I've had this brought up to me. Dude, they're like, they truly aren't getting the sentences and stuff I feel like other dudes are getting.
Dude,
for like
dudes that are in there for small possession charges.
Yeah, and they're getting their heads cracked open.
Yeah, and get their heads cracked open.
And the pedophiles, dude, are getting off
just
on
slap on the wrist.
Like whenever they'll be in, and then they go to their prelim and they're out, or
they protected while they're in there,
or they're they put them off. And they put them all in their own area.
Yeah, it's sick, man. It's
because look, I know one thing. I remember when old Ricky Schmerns fucking hit the pod. And he did that heinous ass shit, but he was just waiting to go there. I don't know if they were going to death penalty on his ass or what they were trying to do.
I haven't looked into it recently, but yeah.
But he was life without parole,
right?
Obviously, but I didn't know if they were trying to kill him or not.
Right. What it was the Greensburg 6. So
yeah,
I'm not sure if that's like the actual term that they might use online of what they call it, but it was essentially Greensburg, Pennsylvania. 6 people heinously murdered and disfigured,
like torture and shit. It was
mentally challenged girl.
It was terrible.
Yeah, and it was
and one
horrible thing.
And because of what we see, and here's the thing about jail, and we can bring this up. Here's the thing about jail. Whether you're in there, let's say that you got caught with some pills or something, right? That would have put you on D. He come on
non-violent is what D blocked.
D was like, D really wasn't. That was like drug related shit.
B and D were always
drug shit.
That was like non-violent.
Yeah.
A and C were violent.
Where the A was the alpha. They called them the alpha males.
Yeah, that's the violent stuff, like murderers.
Yeah. Which I knew a couple guys that were on A. Wes was on A and shit like that. Cause he was a fucking maniac. So. Yeah. But
burglar, arm, anything with a gun.
Yeah, you were going to A because them boys was going. Most of them was going upstate.
Right.
But so and when he hit there, and you're like across from this fucking dude, it's like it was a lot to take in, bro, because we're in there on drug shit basically. You know what I mean? Because I'm in addiction. You know, and I'm stealing, and I'm being, you know, it's all documented. It's like it's a secret, but you know, and I'm doing these, and I'm in there for that, and then there comes this dude. I'm in the same area, getting treated the same way, and this fucking dude tortured somebody.
Right? I know, it was crazy,
and I was like, oh my god.
Mm-hmm.
Like a part of me wanted to just go smash him to bits.
Well, then they protected him,
and then
they put him in his own little private room.
Bro, he wasn't even there that whole day or two. And remember, what's his name? I'm not put his name out there. But
people were plotting. Yeah, people were plotting, which they should. You know what I mean?
The COs we knew before he got there,
right, that he was coming.
I remember. What was the dude they called? The one big bald dude.
The one that was, I know you're talking about, the goatee.
Yeah. Was always into cars.
He was cool.
Yeah, he was cool. Remember, he was getting all jazzed up on that Super Bowl, and they told us to quiet down.
Yeah,
he was like, dude, it's a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Remember, he was like, one time. Remember, he was all fucking. He was like, one time. But he oh shit, what was I getting to? He oh shit, I forgot what I was getting to. Damn it. This Gloo Cakes is fantastic.
Gloo Cakes already got a hold of us.
If it's making me forget that quick, it's good.
Right.
First thing I want to put out there, it's definitely excellent if I can forget that quickly.
A little short-term memory loss is just a side effect.
Boom.
It's just a side effect.
Then I know it's good.
That's a lot.
Then it's good.
That's a lot less than some that you see on TV. You see
Then
some of these pharmaceuticals on TV that side effects may be brain cancer, AIDS.
But more or less
Not literally, but you know, it's always like you're gonna take this one pill and get all this other stuff too, like possibly.
Yeah.
And with this, a little short-term memory loss.
Yeah.
Like what? And you get hungry. Like I don't know. I just don't get it. I don't know.
Well, hey, you know, whatever.
You know, whatever.
Well, more or less what I was getting to was that fucking dude. I want people out there to know, though, here's something y'all need to know. Because justice does get served to these boys. Because here's the thing. Like, in his situation, he's never getting out, so... There's gonna be... I mean, dude, they were bombing him, too. Remember they were making them mixes where they were taking, like, the...
Oh, yeah, piss and...
The beef,
yeah.
packs, and they were letting it ferment for, like...
Yeah, and then throwing it under his
and
door.
then just throwing it in there.
And letting it blow up.
Because there was the one...
stuck in there with...
Tortured his ass.
Yes.
Dude, because, dude, remember they kept sweating him so bad, they kept, who was that one little redheaded dude? Remember he stopped it when he was walking? Remember, because the dude, Schmerns was taking laps, and then the fucking dude went over and stopped him, and was like, let's go, Schmerns. He was like, why don't you do that shit to me? Schmerns, do that shit to me. Young dude, a redheaded dude, ginger motherfucker.
I can't
And listen, he went over and got up in his shit. I was like, go ahead. Because here was the thing.
Did they lock us down?
No, because that was the whole thing. He
chilled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were trying to do it. They were trying to pull him in.
Who? The CEOs?
No. The dudes on the pod were going to try to pull him into one of them huts down
right. Yeah, while he was walking
While
around.
he was walking.
Yeah.
They were just trying to figure out which one, who was going to do it, how it was going to go down.
Yeah, because somebody had to... It's like, you know, he is a horrible human being, and he deserves anything that he did to that human.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no, so it was already in the works. But see, the thing is,
then you got to think, too, like, if you're doing 3 months... and you're about to lose your time and go to the hole for a month and be in complete isolation for a whole... Dude, I couldn't even imagine it. I never did anything to go to the hole. Like I couldn't imagine.
No, the only time I was ever in a hole was just for, like, the overcrowding.
Yeah, overcrowding.
To where, like...
when you come in at first.
Yeah,
but you're so
for,
disoriented anyway. You're
yeah.
I was usually going in, like, fucking...
Just
I'd been smoking all day, every day for months, or
terrible.
I'd been on pills.
Oh yeah, it's like tighten up time, dude.
Yeah,
tighten up.
Like those first couple days when you're in there, you're all disoriented. You don't even know where the fuck you are. You're just sleeping, waking up, eating, sleeping, waking up, eating.
Oh, and here's 2 other things I wanted to bring up too about that subject before we switch off on something else, because I know we will quick. But I know that if there would have been more time, because he took PC within 48 hours.
Oh, yeah.
And that wasn't enough time to plot the perfect fucking...
Right.
And I knew that. I could sense that with them, because, look, we was on D, but there was... When them dudes got sober and they started working out again...
They were bad motherfuckers.
Bro, yeah. No. You did not want to fuck with some of them cats, bro.
Yeah, some of them dudes are bad motherfuckers.
They might have come in, and you seen their pictures on their door. They come in looking all thin, skinny and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And this is like 2 months later, 4 months later, 6 months later, 8 months later.
They got 100
these boys
pounds
are,
on
yeah,
them.
I was going to say, these boys are 40, 50 pound heavier, and they're looking like monsters.
I gained 50 pounds.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say,
I gained 50 pounds. So some of these dudes were putting on 100 pounds. Like, they were
big.
Like, remember, I don't want to say his name, but remember, dude, all the tattoos?
Oh, yeah.
Dude with the hawk?
Yeah,
Dude, I seen him out.
Bro, he was
I seen him at Kennywood.
Bro, that poor motherfucker was in there. Look, his shit, he told me the one day I was talking to him, because he was like, yo, I dig your tattoo on my arm, the one on my, the Greek stuff.
Yeah.
And he was already in there. He was there for 17 months.
Yeah. But he was
when I got there.
He was going up because there was gunplay involved.
And that's county though, bro. He did 17 months in county.
County's the worst because you're isolated to one room. You don't ever leave.
Yeah, but he had
room.
a corner hut.
Yeah.
He had that corner hut, I think, on the first floor, didn't he?
Yeah, probably.
You had one. You had a corner.
I had one at one point. Yeah.
Yeah, because you were. Yeah.
I held it down for a while.
You did.
What it was is I went. No, when I went into a regular hut with some random dude, and then
you moved over.
I moved over. Yeah. Yep. With Gib, we ended up
put him out there.
Yeah.
He wouldn't give a shit anyway.
No, he wouldn't care.
He was talking to. He went over and confront. He said some shit.
Government. Nobody knows who the fuck he is, unless you know him.
He was running his mouth in there too. That little shit.
Yeah, but me and him made the move because he was with this other dude, and a corner hut open. He moved into it, and then he moved me into it. It was cool. And then he moved. He went somewhere, and I ended up getting this other dude in there with me. So I held it down, I think, the whole time. Well, then I got transferred to Allegheny, and then came back and got transferred again and came back. So I was doing the county tour. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But it was cool. Everybody was.
Yeah, I did a little bit of that.
I felt like everybody was fair. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, look, and that's another thing too, because I got there, you was already there, and I'm definitely grateful for your help and shit.
Oh, yeah.
Because I didn't know. Hey, do you remember when I first got there? I had that, because I had long hair then.
Yeah.
But I remember when I first got there, them dudes thought I was someone else, and they was gonna come. I remember because there was like 2 or 3 dudes kept eyeballing me, and I was never in jail before, and I kept seeing these 2 and 3 dudes kept rubbernecking me bad.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck is going on? I guess there was some.
Oh, maybe I do remember that.
Yeah, okay. And they thought I was someone else.
We were like, nah, that ain't.
And that was you. I had told people that. I said, listen, first time I was ever in jail, my boy, he was like, and I put your foot, people I'm talking to, put your name out there. I was like, they thought I was someone else, but I had already known, like, I knew a bunch of people over there in that corner. I knew like
couple.
There was like 4 of you that I knew right away.
Yeah.
Just looking over in that direction, I knew like 4 people, and I was like, okay, that's decent.
Yeah.
I was like,
when you roll in there and you don't know nobody, it's rough.
It was and I knew 4 people already.
Yeah.
Because Lexi was in there. Well, actually, at one point we probably knew more than that.
Yeah.
But not when I first got there.
Oh yeah, after I was there for a while, I clicked up heavy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, yeah. But
I was like, I was definitely always like with the majority. You know what I mean? Like the bad motherfuckers. You know?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like,
that's why when I tell people, like, I was like, yo, son took care of it. He just told him, no, that's not the right guy, and it was done, taken care of. And I was like, I never fucking heard a word about it again.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I never had one problem in there. Like, never had one fucking issue.
Yeah, like, rest in peace, but they. I always had all of Snacks' boys in there.
Oh.
So they would be in there.
Yeah.
And like, they were like OGs, you know what I
mean?
Yeah.
Legit.
Yeah, so they always
Super
had my
legit.
back because I'm from the area, you know.
And you had your.
And then that was my clout,
Yeah. No, that just.
Because they knew what I did on the streets. Yeah. You know what I mean? So they were like, respect,
Y'all lined up on some certain things, so that makes sense to me. That was in place on the street. That's funny because jail's like a spin-off of the street in a way.
Well, it's still such a chaotic place.
But the rules are way more strict.
I know they're strict, but it's so chaotic. Yeah. It's insane.
And I mean their rules though, like if you store, if you do, put it this way, it doesn't matter what you're doing.
Oh, you mean like the staff?
No, like the inmate to inmate.
Inmate to inmate, right? It's chaotic.
Talking like
it's crazy.
Like so that's how the spin-off on the street. The spin-off is that on the street, like if you say I'm gonna do something and you don't do it, like let's say you owe somebody something,
right?
And you don't, you might be able to dodge them for a while, this, that, and the third.
Right.
But you do that in there, there's no running, there's no hiding.
Right. It's like they just took the street and put it into a room.
Correct.
You can't get away from it.
And you can't get away from it. Yeah. Right. You actually have to
You have to man up.
It's kind of a horrible and beautiful lesson at the same time.
Well, most people don't take it as a lesson though. You have to be ready to take it as a lesson. Oh, that's
a lesson, boy.
No, you have to be ready to take it as a lesson. Some people, majority of people, are adapting and that's it.
Oh, well. I understand that.
That's it.
You're right. You're 100% right.
No lesson learned. They don't even look at it as a lesson. Even if they didn't learn it, they don't look at it like that. Yeah. They're just adapting. You know what I mean?
You're right.
And and that's why it's such a fucked up system. You know what I mean?
You're right.
There's no reform. Like no. I give myself so much props. I'm one of the few that have reformed myself in jail.
Yeah, I was gonna. You know what I mean? Yeah, you was. Yeah, definitely.
And I feel like that takes a lot of fucking strength to fucking reform yourself in such a chaotic fucking atmosphere. But I was just so used to chaotic atmosphere. You know what I mean?
I mean, to be straight up, not that it would have made. I'm not saying it would have made it any more or less difficult or whatever. However you want to look at it, I'm just saying my time. I definitely want to. Dude, my whole setup there was made so much more fluid because you were there already. You basically, because you were there, that eliminated so many things and problems that a normal cat would have going in.
Yeah.
You basically eliminated based on the way I was already.
And where I was already
and where you were already, yeah.
Like I was already I was already
on the pod.
On my path.
You were already established.
I was already on my path though, you know what I mean? Like I was already
dude, you probably already had 90 days or so in by the time I got there.
Oh yeah, maybe even more.
Yeah, you was probably almost 100 days in.
Yeah.
At that point.
I might even been 6 months in. I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe 4 months.
You still had like I remember you saying you still had like at least 4 months to go. Or something. Or another 6 months to go.
I did
you still had a decent amount of time left.
Fuck, I did like 8 months straight there.
Yeah, dude.
And then they shipped me to Allegheny for like 2 months, and then I came back. Yeah, it was crazy because they released me from Westmoreland. And Allegheny hadn't released me. Like I went back to Westmoreland in my Allegheny Reds. Like that was in my belongings when I was leaving. You know what I mean? So they never released me. They sent me. And so I get home, they hook me up to an ankle bracelet the day I get out. You know what I mean? Like they like practically followed us to the crib and hooked me up to an ankle bracelet.
They would.
Well, I was on like this state sentence, so it was like home and then treatment and stuff. And I got home and they put it on me, and like the next day, my Allegheny PO showed up at the crib, and he's like, "What the hell? How the hell did you get out?" And I was
like, escape.
I was like, "Bro, it's cool. I got the ankle bracelet on." He's like, "Okay." He was like, "I hope that you've learned your lesson." He was his old cat, dude. He was old school. Yeah. Like I was on a high intensity unit for probation out in Allegheny County because of like my age and how many priors and things I had on. Like it put me on like a high level.
I got that later on, not right away.
And dude, I would show up there sometimes blasted out of my mind, and he never would violate me, and he knew, man. And he was old school.
Oh, they would have cooked me, man.
He was old school. Like I went there one time, I ate like a handful of Xanax, and I didn't even know where the hell I was. And this dude he was like talking to me. We chilled for like an hour. Who knows what I said to him? And he was like, "All right, man, I'll see you next month." I was like, "Okay." Dude, so many times. He had taken urines. I knew that they were dirty, and he never violated me. It was so weird.
It's crazy.
It must just be different out there because the city is so big. You know, they have so many people to look after. They're like, if he's not committing any serious crimes, I mean.
Yeah,
you know
I get it. Yeah, that would be. I mean, I'm trying to think who was the perfect example. Wes, probably. Rest in peace, kid.
Rest in peace.
He would do so much time in fucking county jail on violations, man. Violations. He was a maniac. I remember we turned ourselves in when I was in Washington County as well, and we turned ourselves in. I turned myself in on Thursday. Ralph Jennings come picked me up, and and shout out to him because he actually was really fair with me, and I respect that.
Right.
And so shout out to him for being an authentic individual in that situation. And yeah, Wesley turned himself in on a Friday. And he did more. He did like 5 months on a violation. I was only down for 2 or something like that. Washington, just a little over 2. And the only reason I was down that long was just because it kept getting postponed. And what's his name was a co-defendant in that case. Let's say it.
Yeah,
I can't say it, but I ended up taking. I took that case. He got a receiving, and I took the F1, F3. You know what I mean? And he just got the RSP because he went to the pawn shop with it. I was the one that actually, you know.
Right.
So that was how, and that really, that there was what, you know, after all that, I remember this. I actually got an attorney because I was actually clean at the time when it all started going down, and I got a real good situation going on for myself to where it was like gonna take me a long time, but I figured it was about 3.5 more years after that then I would start to be more in like a clear. Because once I can get close to getting off paper, I knew my fines weren't going to be paid yet, but at least if I could get off paper, and then get my license back too.
Right.
And that all came together in 2018. So yeah, 2018. So it was worth the wait. It was worth the patience. There were so many things I learned from that super unfortunate process. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So many things. It humbled me out so much, dude. Look, that woke me up, bro.
Yeah.
That woke me up. It really did. That was some, you know, that was some interesting shit.
Yeah, absolutely. Right? Yeah, the process is crazy, man. It is. The process of, like, change.
Yeah.
But, like, in a can't think of the word. Damn glue cake.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic too.
Right? But
you know what? Oh no, I don't.
Yeah, the process of change is so crazy. It's mind blowing when you have like a revelation. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
personal.
Like, yeah.
Just you.
Yep.
Just you and your shit. Getting good with yourself.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Because that's kind of what it comes down to. Is you know, you as a man, you know, can you do this?
Hold on.
You know, are you still that man? You know, when you look at yourself, you keep looking at yourself over and over. It's like, are you still that dude? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I want to blow your mind real quick.
Way, you know?
I'm trying to blow your mind real quick.
Oh wait, you got some more of the Pentagon releasing the
No.
the UFO footage.
No,
Are we going to talk about that? Because I really want to talk about that.
We can talk about that in a minute. Yeah.
Yeah, the Pentagon evidently released some real. I'm sorry, I'm going to interrupt Shane, but oh shit. The Pentagon released footage about that they had seen some unidentified objects.
Yeah, UFOs.
Yeah, so UFOs are real.
We'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah,
But
we're getting there. But anyways,
we were talking about this the other day,
Okay.
and I found this little article.
hit me.
All right.
Hit me.
It's titled "A Different Version of You Exists in the Minds of Everyone Who Knows You." Okay.
That's right. That's correct.
Right. So it reads. This is just the article. I'm not sure what the source is, but it says. The writer of the article says, I read a book that blew my mind. The main character goes crazy when he realizes no one really knows him. So
Oh shit.
this is the article. So it says, the gist is that the person you think of as yourself exists only for you.
Right.
And even you don't really know who that is.
Right. Okay.
Every person you meet, have a relationship with, or make eye contact with on the street with, creates a version of you in their heads.
Correct. Each one has their own version.
Each one, yes.
Oh my god, dude.
Right, you're not the same person to your mom, your dad, your siblings than you are to your coworkers, your neighbors, or your friends. there are 1,000 different versions of yourself out there in people's minds.
There's, dude, no doubt about
Right.
it.
A you
So
exists in each version, and yet you yourself isn't really a someone at all. Isn't that fucking crazy?
Dude, the silence there for a second. I can guarantee whoever just listened to that shit was silent there for a second as
Dude,
well. Holy fuck, you had me fucked up there for a minute.
Yeah, it
Hold on a
blows your
second.
mind.
Because I asked myself, I was like, well, then who am I? Like, I asked myself that. I'm like, well, then who the fuck am I
Right.
really then? If you know what
So
I mean?
when we think
when
we have that thought of like, who the fuck really am I think it's just
That's
us
up to
trying.
us.
No, I think it's us trying to figure out what other people think, the way that they see us. But
Well-
we never could, because we could never think the same as another person.
I definitely pay attention to that. I pay attention big time on how I influence other people and how they influence me and stuff like that. I definitely do, because I feel like human interaction is a big deal.
But that's your perception of it.
I try to remain open-minded.
Yeah, but that's different. Open-minded is just you
Well, what I'm getting to is
react. That's your reaction.
Yeah.
But you would
Um,
never actually know. That's what it's saying. Like, you could never actually.
You don't.
know. You know
No.
what I mean?
Well, that's why this is okay, and I'm glad you brought this up. Listen, I'm glad you brought this up, because this could be more of a thing where you have to look at as you being an individual mind. Then, so then now that you've established that essentially there's just an unlimited amount of versions of you then out there. So if you was just to basically go and meet every single person out in the world, they all would see you in a different way from the last, right? You know, so because not, you know, everyone's all the individualism,
Right.
and that's kind of whenever I think the path could be a little inward as well, to where maybe we need to get to know ourselves then.
Well, that's all it is.
Maybe we need to get to know this person.
That's kind of, like,
You gotta
our
dig a little-
existence.
Yeah.
It's just what's going on
like
in
what's
our
going
head.
on here. Yeah. Let's like
And we're all just kind of doing that.
sure. Let's raise our self-awareness then. Let's like raise that.
Right. We're all kind of doing that.
Think a little bit more critically. You know?
Right. Like, you gotta think it's like we're in place, and then we run into each other. So then that's where socializing comes into place.
All
You
the
know?
mi- yeah, because you have all those minds now. You got all
Right.
these like cool minds, like all these just individual perspectives
Right.
on
And they're
reality.
just like, hey, interacting.
Let's talk
Yeah.
about this. Yeah, let's do this. Let's check this shit out.
Mhm.
So basically, if you get enough people on the same path, same like wavelength, to where they're all sort of like, like
Understanding.
put the hate down,
Right.
then maybe it would be like a better environment,
Yeah.
because everybody would be on that path. But that's not really gonna happen. It's not realistic. But
Okay, and then article number 2 to
so I mean, really, you could create any environment you wanted.
right.
Like, as humans, we could,
Well, that's why they
with
say
free
that
will.
That's why they say that.
based on free will, we can shape this environment.
Right. That's why they say
You know?
that you can't. You have no control over what happens. You only have control on how you react.
That's
So
well said.
that's why. That's
Well,
exactly
yeah,
what it
because
is.
the physical universe is much more powerful than us individually. I mean,
Right. That and
we're not.
You don't know how other individuals are gonna do. Everybody's on a different path.
That too.
So you have no control over their actions. So
No, none.
and
Not
yeah,
really.
sometimes it's universal, sometimes it's other people.
Yeah, yeah, right. There's a lot of different. It's all free will.
Mm-hmm.
If you think about every single consciousness, every person, this is a game of free will. You can all operate on free will.
Right.
Dude, that gives you so many possibilities, don't it?
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So let me add to this though.
Oh yeah,
So
run that part too. Blow my mind again.
this one is titled "Time is an Illusion."
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
And it reads, "Time is not linear. It is simultaneous. Everything, including the past and future, are all happening right now. Past lives are actually parallel lives. Time is a man-made 3D construct. In higher dimensions, there's no such thing as time because we experience everything happening simultaneously in the now as one."
Whoa, bro. Yo.
So while
Here's the problem.
we're all in here
Yeah.
creating a 3D structure.
Yeah, I sort of get where you
Of
were
our
going with
path.
that. Like, I'm kind of with that. Yeah.
Okay.
That's super, super heavy.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah.
That's some dense fucking information, and that's a lot of data for a lot. Most people won't be able to download that. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot. What you just said there.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not even fucking. More or less, what it comes down to is I just basically understand more and more about how much less, or how much less and less, or how less and little and little I know about what's actually going on. You know, what's happening is I'm becoming aware of how little I actually know.
Right.
That's what's happening.
Right.
For me. Like, I can't say honestly. Like, I feel like where we're at now, I'm beginning to, like, I understand a lot of things enough to where I can definitely live a nice, peaceful, spiritual life and be a spiritual being.
Right. I think
and
that's.
Stuff.
I feel like that's the goal in this environment. You know.
Yeah, I can accomplish things
is
like
to
that.
align yourself. You know, with organically.
Sure.
Everything to where, if you're in a good place, that radiates. So you have an aura, you know, and when people come into that, it might put them in that direction as well, and everybody's happy, you know,
and
you feel good.
I'm always out there just doing whatever, but what I'm trying to say is like a whole. I feel like is as humans, like as our whole species,
right?
Like we are nowhere near a humble enough species, a compassionate enough species to be on any other level than what we're at now. You understand what I'm saying? So, like, the reason that we're not, the reason this crazy stuff's going on is because that's who we are. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. It's what we've created, and that's just what's happening.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's not like, what I'm trying to say is if the dominant force or the thing, like the energy governing it, like the globe itself was like based off like a different energy and a belief and a wavelength altogether, there could maybe be more just decency, at least for like one living being towards another. You know what I'm saying? More so than just all the skin color shit and you're from on this side of the planet and we're from over here. Dude, I wish we all were just like, yo, we're people of Earth.
Well, I mean,
you know what I'm saying? Like, we're a big team down here. Like, if we all teamed up, we would be good.
Those are just short-term happinesses that people, they were a burst of endorphins that people got when they were using that because they had insecurities, and
like, we're people of Earth.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because a lot of our makeup, we are, of Earth.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
we're very, very organic.
Right.
On the physical end of the thing. Yeah, we're fucking,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, so we're highly connected to the planet.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's so many lost secrets and cool old studies out there. That's another thing I liked. We touched base on one time. We were talking about was like old alchemy and like ancient forms of old studies, old ways, old crafts.
Oh yeah, like different.
We're talking
civilizations.
Like, there was some crazy stuff going on from like, let's say like, 5th or 6th century all the way up to like 17th century.
Right.
In that time period, there was a lot of crazy shit going on, and a lot of, I think a lot of the things that were going on then are just completely lost to us. Like, so there's a bunch of stuff there's like this there's this manuscript that was like wrote in this language that they haven't like decoded yet. It's called the Voynich manuscript. It's like, it was written by this dude. I think it was dated somewhere around like 13th century or something like that, but maybe 14th century, I'm not sure, but it was never fully deciphered. They don't actually even know, you know, what it says. Right. They have it.
Right.
That's pretty cool. I think that's pretty neat. And what's interesting about it is a lot of the pictures and things in it are like very organic. There's a lot of pictures of plants and things like that. There's a lot of drawings and stuff in it that are like, they thought were, I mean, there's an obvious celestial part where he's looking to the stars, and there's things that are mapped out that are pretty accurate, and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. And I just thought like all this neat stuff, how he had all this stuff laid out in it, and it's just like this big huge thing that all these people would just basically are puzzled over. Like, it was like royalty, or it was like in a royalty chest. Some dude bought it like hundreds of years ago, and he spent his whole life trying to figure this thing out. He couldn't do it, and then it just kept getting passed on and passed on. So that was a really cool story. So whoever's listening to this, you got time, check that out. The Voynich manuscript. It is like one of the coolest mysteries I think left, that would be literature that we have that's at least released to us that we can check out
and try to decipher ourselves.
Never gonna happen. Actually, recently I watched some stuff. I think there were some people that were claiming they were getting close. They were breaking some of the stuff down.
I wonder what they're like comparing it to.
Well,
they'd have to compare it to something that they understood.
They were explaining that, and they broke it down pretty well. And they were starting to have breakthroughs in certain parts of the book, but not in all the parts of the book. There were still a lot of them that were mysterious to them, but they were at least making headway, you know. And it seemed to be on, but I don't know. I think with time, someone's eventually going to crack the code, but you know, we'll see.
Yeah, to like come back to the correctional side of things.
Ooh. Take me back.
In this situation that we're in, listen to Google listening to us.
Yeah.
In the current situation we're in, it's just made me realize, like, you know, we go through all this stuff, or for at least me, I'll just talk for myself, but we go through all these things to reform ourselves, you know what I mean, and do all the right things, and then we're still put up by this shit, you know what I mean? They're like, well,
interesting,
you did everything, but in a situation like this, we're just gonna take it all away, you know?
Well, at least we're prepared.
Yeah, kinda.
At least you and me know how to deal with it.
Oh yeah. That's so funny. A buddy of mine, he sent me a picture through Snapchat the other day, and it was him cooking a chi-chi, and I was like, motherfucker, I haven't had a chi-chi in so long. So break it down for everybody. Probably the most layman chi-chi recipe there is. Okay, because when you start going, you know, to bigger jails or jails in different areas, everybody has something a little bit different, but this is the basics. Okay, so what you do is you're gonna get 2 ramen noodle soups. Okay,
give them the rundown.
So you're gonna get these 2 ramen noodle soups, and you're gonna bust them up as much as you can. You're gonna dump them. Well, when you're in there, you
and you were a pretty good cook too, actually.
Oh yeah. I could chef it up.
Yeah, you were.
Not just with the chi-chi.
And now,
chi-chi is specialty.
And now, before my boy really gives you, now you gotta understand, there's a a million different ways to make them and different things. Everybody's got their touch. Every chef got his. There's a lot of different recipes. Shout out to A1. He took care of me in Washington County, cooked for me and shit. He took care of me. But Shane's gonna give you the rundown on his recipe.
Right. So 2 ramen noodle, 2 soups. Okay, bust those bricks up into little pieces, and what you're gonna want to get your hands on in there. I just recently, when my buddy sent me a picture, and as well as I did, we just did them in like the freezer bags, like the Ziploc freezer bags. But when you're in there, you're gonna want to get your hands on a small garbage bag. Usually they're clear. So you're gonna dump this in the small garbage bag. You're gonna get yourself a chip called in there. It's called the whole shebang. Now, I found a comparable one here on the streets called Zappos Voodoo Chips. Same flavor. It's almost like a barbecue salt and vinegar. It's an amazing chip. So you're gonna get a bag of these, the whole shebang.
All the shebangs, let's go, baby.
Yeah. So you're gonna get a whole bag of this, and you're gonna crush this as fine as you can. Sometimes like roll a rolling pin over it or whatever you can get. You want this thing to be dust. So
the shebangs are the baddest chips around, even on the street.
I was saying I found a comparable chip on the street.
Which one?
The Voodoo Zappos.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they exactly.
And then the cactus and party mix. Was it cactus?
Yes. So after you bust that up, so you already got your ramen noodles in there. Usually I would, if I'm doing 2 soups, I would dump 1 packet of chicken in there just to give it a little flavor. Add a little salt. Discard the other flavor packet from the second soup. You're gonna do a whole bag of the whole shebang. You're gonna get yourself a bag of party mix, and you're gonna need to pick out all the pretzels from the party mix because you don't want the pretzels in there.
No, you don't.
And once all the pretzels are picked out, you're gonna crush that bag up as fine as you can. Like I said, with a rolling pin if you'd like. Okay. You're gonna dump that in your bag. Then you're gonna get yourself a summer sausage, and you're gonna cut this up into little bite-sized pieces. You're gonna add that to the bag, and then you're gonna get yourself some boiling water. The amount can vary depending on how you like yours, but I like mine to be in a pasty form, so I just fill it right over top of the whole mixture. So I'll fill boiling water in there, and you let it sit for 3 minutes, closed up. Just let it sit there and marinate. You could work it a little bit, kind of like some dough. It's gonna be like a doughy substance. After 3 minutes, once it's like cooked a good bit, it's gonna be hot. You're gonna get yourself some nacho cheese, like some like dippable, like a cheese dip. Okay, I recently used Hers brand cheese dip, and you're gonna add cheese to your preference, and you're gonna mix it around in that hot mixture, and then I personally like it served up with a sleeve of saltine crackers. But they are amazing. But yeah, like I said, there's a bunch of different add-ins you can do, or whatever you like to do, whatever your flavor preferences are. But that was how we were taught. Ooh, that's beautiful. Which train's that?
That's a good question. I didn't even look at that. Apologize. Gelato and menthol?
Really? It's a cross. I heard that gelato is good. I don't think I ever tried it.
Dude, that's
crystally.
That kind of reminds me of,
Yeah.
But anyways, back on to the finished parts of your beautiful recipe.
Well, that was it, yeah. then you dump it into a bowl and you kind of just scoop it out with some saltines. It's amazing.
Oh yeah. I actually, listen, for the record, I actually still owe my man a half sleeve or a sleeve.
Yeah, maybe a sleeve.
No, it was because there's 2 sleeves. There was like 2, right? That came with what you, or was there 4 in a box?
Yeah, there was 4.
You gave me one of them 4.
Yeah.
I still owe him a whole sleeve.
Hopefully never.
I actually do.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just funny that, you know, we're prepared. You know, it's so funny, like, we're in this, like, little lockdown situation, and it's bringing back that kind of shit, you know? And it was tasty. I hadn't had one in a long time, and it came out really good. But not something that I would want to eat in there, you know?
And it's another thing. I'm real proud of, like, yourself, myself, and the other individuals, all the individuals that we know, and all the individuals that we don't know that, you know, for whatever reason, it's not really important. What is important is how I think that we decide, and how other people, the awesome, strong people that we know, it's like how they decide to do it now, and they do that shit every day. They make that choice every day to be that kind of person. And, you know, God bless these people, dude. Shout out to them for being that badass, because that's some badass stuff to go through certain things and then, you know, choose to be. I mean, I got 5 years. How long do you have?
Like 7.
7.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's 12 years right there.
Yeah.
You know, and I know a ton of people that have got.
Oh yeah.
Ton of people that got 5+. Tons of them.
Yeah.
And I'm so proud of all of them, dude.
Yeah.
And all those other people that got them stories that are like, yo, I'm on, that are like, yo, we're at 6 years, you know, all that stuff, all them cool stories. Proud of all of them too.
It's all
because y'all are some badass.
decision.
Yeah, they're badasses, dude. There's so many stories that are similar. They're relatable, you know.
Yeah, if you're not committing personally, then it's not gonna happen. That's why I said a lot of people, they just adapt to the situation instead of realizing what
shit.
It was.
Yeah, so
getting out of it. You know?
Rising above it. Own that shit and then rise above it.
And, you know, it's the number one sign should be, you know, that you're constantly uncomfortable. You're living an uncomfortable life. You know? I could see if it was just nothing but fun and, you know, like amazing times.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean? But that is not what
way.
it is, you know?
Definitely not that way.
It's a burden.
Sure is.
You know? And it's crazy.
Kind of like this.
What is it?
Oh, you already know.
What's that from? Blue.
No. The same.
Oh, that alien.
No, sunshine.
Oh.
Just now. Same thing was happening to me. It was happening to him. It was the same. It was the same exact shit.
Who? Him.
Yeah.
What was happening to him? Oh, he said he was finding them.
I just did.
Oh yeah, I know.
And I did in mine too.
Right.
You know what I mean? What are the chances?
I know, right?
What are the chances?
It's crazy.
What the fuck? It's pretty neat. Life is spectacular for that reason.
Right?
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's just crazy, man. It really is. I'm interested to see how people come out of this.
Yeah, I honestly think that this is a great opportunity for, you know, people to come out of this better.
Well,
better human beings.
I hope.
Towards one another.
I hope that we can come out of this, like, wonderfully, you know? Like, I heard somebody...
Am I being a little too optimistic?
I heard somebody say somewhere that, you know, like the Renaissance, like, you know, like with all the art and music and all the art, you know, the creativity blossomed right after the plague, you know?
Okay.
Where they were all scared and, you know, kind of isolating so that they don't die from the plague. And once they came out of that as a people, you know, as human race, or wherever it happened. Probably Europe, right? The Renaissance, yeah. But yeah, like
it sounds.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound
right. Oh, that was way before we were a country.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, wouldn't it be awesome for us to come out of this like that? That would be amazing.
I hope. I mean,
You know,
I mean,
just like,
that's like the goal. That's like
the art,
the whole.
Just like everything, just be so beautiful and amazing. You know.
Yeah.
And people just be more creative and more loving.
Yeah,
know?
exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Not to say that they were maybe not loving back then. I don't know if they were or not. You know.
We can be more.
Right.
We can do a lot fucking better.
Right, but we're far along from that. Right, exactly.
We can do a lot better.
Like,
I mean,
when you get a taste of, like, I could fucking die. You know what I mean?
And there's a lot of people out there that are truly good-hearted people. There's still decent people out there. I know there is. I mean, I got a lot of decent people around me, for real. But we need more.
Yeah.
We need more.
Big time.
You know? Like, we need more.
I know it's definitely... Oh. What, this the glue? Or is this the sunshine?
Yeah.
Okay. So, what was I saying? Oh, to come out of this at what were we
better.
talking? Yeah,
Better
we're gonna
people.
come out better.
Just, you know, just willing to be a little more kind to each other.
Yeah.
Look out for each other. Stick up for each other.
I hope. I do. Really hope.
I think we can do it. I think we can do it. I believe in it. I believe in us. I believe we can do it.
Chaos breeds habit, though. You know?
Well, then we need a hero. You know? We need a hero.
We shouldn't wait for a hero.
We need one. I'm not talking. It ain't coming in form of politics either.
Right. Oh, no. Hell no.
You know?
They've all uncovered that they have no idea what's going on. Like, it's funny. Isn't it funny
We
to
need
see
like
that?
It's
almost funny.
We need a fucking hero, man.
Isn't that funny, though, a little bit? Like, it's really showing who's, like, fucking legit and who's been faking it.
Well,
You know what I mean?
But that's... Listen...
Like
everybody doing shit, it's just they're all on a time limit until they get exposed anyways. So if you're not moving with integrity, eventually you're gonna get found out. You know, everyone gets found out.
Right.
You know,
Right.
If you're doing some shit, you're gonna get found out.
Yeah, true. But it's really showing. You know, it is. It really is.
Yo, you ain't lying. You ain't lying.
What were we just listening? Trump was saying,
Trumpster.
everything's great. Everybody's happy. Everything's great. Everybody's happy. And then the next article you read is like, looks like LA has to push back their reopening because they had an inflation of cases. Like when they started to open back up. So it's like, I don't mean to laugh, but it's like, what? We don't know. Everything is uncharted territory.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I suppose.
So like until you have some error, some trial and error, and like you have some data on it, then you could say some shit. I'm not telling him what to say. It's just he's hilarious to me. I think he's a hoot. I think he's funny as fuck. He's smart as fuck.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I really can't.
I'm not endorsing the man, but I'm just saying, like, he plays everybody. Oh, bless you. He plays everybody. This man has spit hanging from his face from sneezing.
Oh yeah, about old Donald Trump. You know, I really can't. It's hard for me to really say.
No, but do you know what I'm saying?
Because I'm not, I never met him. So
He's
really
like
say much
a
about it.
brilliant guy in the sense that like he gets everybody going with some stupid shit that he says, and then like when everybody's griping about that, he pulls some slick shit while nobody's looking. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean,
I feel like it's all a plan.
that's why I just, I stay out of the way. I don't get involved with politics.
Yeah, neither do I.
I don't understand. I have no idea what's going on. I've never understood. Never really thought about it.
It's pretty much a popularity contest.
Is that what's going on?
Mm-hmm. Who's gonna do you the most favors? If you're worth something.
I feel like there's people way more popular that aren't in politics.
Right. Because they don't have to deal with that shit. It's a lot to deal with. President of the United States? That's not even real. That shouldn't even be a real job. How you gonna put everything? How are we gonna have like a mascot? That's like our mascot.
They don't even pay a president that much.
No, they don't. I don't even think Trump he didn't take a pay.
He wouldn't.
I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure.
He would be like, nah, keep it.
Yeah, he's like, that's chump change. It's probably only a couple $100,000, I'd imagine.
Yeah, honestly, I think it's like $500,000, maybe. Something. Maybe. Not even.
In the 90s, I think it was like $100,000. So whatever that is now.
I gotta look this up. I don't normally sit here and Google shit, but I'm about to right now because I want to know how much a president makes.
I'm munching on a combo.
Because this is Trump we're talking about. So let me see how much a president gets.
$400,000. Is that what it is? $400,000 a year.
Yeah. It's saying here we go. Current.
I mean, essentially, you're getting paid $400,000 a year to be a mascot of this country. Don't get me wrong, he still has to be a leader, but in a democracy, you know what I mean? Like, there's a whole judicial system. You know what I mean?
I mean, listen, here we go. I got some great. Okay, so I don't know how true. This is what I'm reading. I don't know. I mean, it sounds pretty legit, but we'll say, wow, this is current.
Okay.
While in office, the U.S. president receives a salary of $400,000 a year and a $50,000 expense account. Congress sets the amount and raised it to the current level in 2001. This pays for the president's personal expenses, such as food and dry cleaning.
Right.
That's $50,000.
It's the job.
So that's the job.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I'm sure they pay for his housing. You know.
Well, yeah, I mean, and that Title III of the U.S. Code also grants a $100,000 non-taxable travel account, and fly this number, and $19,000 for entertainment.
Yes.
Well, how do you get 19? It says
that's like when
Title III.
That's like when Obama would be at the basketball game. You know what I mean?
And 19,000 for
off to that.
Other perks include free transportation in the presidential limousine, Marine One.
You gotta think though, a lot of those places probably don't charge him. Just to have his presence is so much publicity.
He receives free furnished housing in the White House. The first family also receives $100,000 to redecorate the White House to feel more at home.
Mm-hmm. I believe it.
And it's saying it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you're supposed to stay at the White House. That's like your house, but
yeah, it is. It says right here. It would just
be so weird. It would be like staying in a museum.
Yeah, the White House upkeep requires permanent residents, including maids, cooks, everything permanent.
Mm-hmm.
Permanent. Everything's permanent. The president receives free health care, all that stuff. From the who directs the White. Oh, okay, I get it. Presidents and their spouses cannot receive free clothing. If they want to wear a piece as a gift, they must place it in the National Archives after being worn.
They don't want
What kind
designers.
of shit is that?
They don't want designers, you know, using them as publicity. You know, all kind of different people be sending them clothes like, wear my stuff on TV. You know, you're like, this is what the president's wife wears.
Oh my God! Here we go.
What?
Here we go.
What?
Four presidents refused the salary.
Four. Who?
And
Bush.
we'll start with. Let's go to the earliest here. Oh, of course. What a G.
Who?
What an OG.
Who?
George Washington.
Okay.
George Washington donated his $25,000 salary. He used some of it for travel expenses. He needed a special chariot to take him through the rugged roads of the South. George, dude, 25 grand. He donated that shit back in 1700.
It's awesome.
Yeah, what a beast. Herbert Hoover.
Excuse me.
He divided it between whoever, various. Hoover's net worth then was around $4 million in 1913. That's about $103 million today. All right. Next one, John F. Kennedy. He donated his $100,000 salary to charity. It says here he inherited a multi-million-dollar trust fund. He had also donated
JFK.
his salary while serving 14 years in Congress.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he was just like a really decent dude, it seems like. And then our fourth and final, your boy.
Big D Trump.
Yeah, he
Funny.
donates his $400,000 annual salary to various federal departments.
Yeah. Yep.
Wait, that doesn't say
You
charity.
don't need it.
Hold on a second. No, hold on. Whoa.
Yeah, he's not charity.
Hold on a second. He ain't donating.
He's putting it back into the country.
He's putting it into, it says various federal departments. It doesn't say charity. They all say charity.
Right. Yeah, he's not giving it to charities. He's keeping it in-house. Whatever programs he likes. You know what I mean? Or bigger salary for his staff or something.
According to Forbes.
Right.
There you have it. The rest of them took the money.
Right? Hey, I mean, you can't be president forever. While you're president, you're pretty much living for free.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
bank that money, invest it, and then whenever you retire from being president, you can't be president for more than 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
You know, after your 8 years, you retire with what you've saved up and invested. You know, probably if you're smart. You know, and think about how much free stuff they probably get. Do you think they turn it down?
I think it says they can't. What?
No, after.
Oh, I'm not sure.
You know what I mean?
It would depend on the person. It would depend on what it was.
You think they'd be like,
It would be
yo, Obama,
situational.
should you wear Nike? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm sure there's
Just in a couple pictures. You know, we don't even got to commit. You don't got to do an ad. You don't got to do an ad. Here, we'll send you a couple shirts. You pick which one you like. Couple pictures, maybe on paparazzi or on your Instagram or something like that.
I'm sure there's all kind of shit that goes.
Yeah, I'm telling you, they're set after.
You know what I mean?
You know what I mean? Like they're chilling. Like, oh, Mr. President. Absolutely. Here, let me just comp your room for you, sir.
There's
Thank you.
Like I said, man.
They deserve it, I guess. It's a hard job, man. It's a hard fucking job. I don't think any human is even capable of actually doing that job the way it should be done. It's just, could you even imagine that? There's 320 motherfuckers here. 320 million motherfuckers.
Is that what it is? 320.
I think, yeah, 320, 330, something like that.
Yeah, I think somebody said it was 333 million.
Really?
333 million people.
How many people are in the United States? 328.2. Yeah, so like 330 motherfuckers. 330 million motherfuckers.
That's pretty crazy.
Million. That's a lot of people to look after. You know?
Those are some big numbers.
And to try to make everybody happy, you'll never make everybody happy.
And that's just us.
I know, it's just us, yeah. Think about China and India with like 1 billion. Dude, that's so many people. That's not even, that's more, that's like triple what we have. Triple. Could you imagine triple of what we have? Triple. Dude, we got a lot of people here.
It wouldn't work.
They're making it work, but it's that's like different government systems. You know what I mean? Like, do you need? Is that what it would turn into? You know what I mean?
See,
the like the countries and their ideas are so old. You know, but they didn't always have that many people. They grew, and time, so much time. Some of those places are so old, those civilizations, you know what I mean? Like, they're so old, way older than us. We're not even old at all. We're a new idea still.
it shows.
Right. But you know what I mean? Like, if we ended up having a billion people, 900 million even, would it get to that? Like, you know what I mean? Because how else could you look after that many people unless you had like some kind of strict fucking, like, you think freedom would be able to be in that situation?
It's hard to say.
That's a lot of people. It's a lot of people.
I wonder if, like,
just think about like the city, you know? That the city would have to be everywhere. You know what I mean? Everywhere. That's how everybody would live.
that's crazy.
That close. Don't you think?
Yeah, it just seems like a lot.
I mean, we'd still have to
seems
section
just
off
like-
certain areas that would have to be like green. We couldn't concrete the whole earth.
It just seems like, man, that seems like a lot.
I know.
Don't it though?
Yeah. Isn't that crazy? But to go back though, I guess, in a sense, back when they didn't have that many people, they were still using that same belief.
Okay.
Weren't they? Isn't there like their like China with
you know,
being like
these are some of
communism, you know what I mean?
Yeah, these are. See,
Like, is that how they originated? I'm not real sure on that.
you know, that was like, I wish there was just like some sort of book that, like, if you have a question, some ancient old question that goes back.
Oh, they got Google.
No, I'm talking about like a book that gives you the real answer to a question that you ask that's like 200 years or older.
Yeah.
You know, because not too many people, you know.
Well, yeah, we discussed that before.
Yeah, like there's certain questions.
Over time,
it's
things
like,
change.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
just how it is.
It's like, yeah.
I mean, they
what was
document,
going on? Yeah.
but even documentation changes, and then, like now, we're even going back and like looking at things through a different perspective. Isn't that crazy? We're that far out in time at this point to look back and reanalyze the way we think about old situations.
It doesn't seem like much changed.
You know what I'm saying?
We
Isn't
seem
that
to-
pretty crazy?
We seem to be making the same fucking mistakes, evidently.
Like there would, I'm sure, be questions constantly through time, but like people were like looking at old cases, and like people were in prison for like 50 years on some fake shit.
Yeah, you're right.
You know what I mean?
You're right. You're right.
And then they just figure out, whoops, we got it wrong back then. But for some reason, somebody decided to look at it through a different perspective and reanalyze it today. Why?
It wasn't it like.
I I mean, I'd imagine that somebody has to be on your side constantly, or you have to constantly be, filing for some sort of reevaluation,
Wasn't it? Who
on
was
your
it?
case.
Who was it that was in prison for thinking that the sun was in the center of our solar system? Was it Copernicus?
I'm not sure.
I think it might be Copernicus. Even Galileo, might even be on that too.
Right.
But they were looked at like they were crazy.
Well, why? I don't understand
And-
why people would get so mad over that back then.
They were put in jail, bro.
Yeah, why?
Bro, they were fucking put in jail.
People still think that
What
the Earth is
fuck
flat.
kind of shit is that?
2020,
Earth
people
flat's
still
one-
think that the Earth is flat.
And listen, that's their business. That's their business. Okay. That's their business. But my business is with dude, I'm pretty fucking sure that there are like Sumerian tablets or etchings and shit where they were accurately depicting our solar system up to like an 8th or 9th planet.
Yeah, how were they able to see
And
that
they were
far?
fucking doing that 9,000, 10,000 years ago, bro.
Do you think because the atmosphere was
Like,
different that they were
what?
able to see that far out
If-
with the naked eye? Or did they have some
And here,
sort of...
let me hit you with
telescope.
this. Let me hit you with this. There's no question in my mind, and let me be clear. Let me be crystal clear about what I'm about to say. There's no question in my mind when you look at the degree of mathematics involved in the construction of like at the Giza Plateau in Egypt. Okay, we're just not going to talk about one. We're just not going to talk about the Great Pyramid. There's 3 there. There's the Sphinx, and God knows how old it is, and there's a lot of impressive stuff there.
Right.
And there's no question in my mind when you think about what it takes to do what was done, because it was done. It's sitting there, it's standing there for everyone to look at. That shit was done, so it's real. So we don't say we need to figure it out, nothing like that. I think there's a few people that come pretty close to figuring out how they did it. It was a really, really cool theory. It was like the pyramid was built basically from the inside out. There was like a path that went like sort of like this, on a very specific degree slope that was inside of it.
Right.
That,
Yeah, they have to.
that was inside, But anyways,
To keep working their way up.
correct.
It's like a ladder.
Yeah, the system, yeah. But anyways, dude, their level was, they were on levels of mathematics that we still don't understand. They had techniques and technologies and ways and sciences we still can't get our head around. And you're gonna tell, and with their celestial positioning, I mean, the way they positioned those structures are so perfectly aligned with things that are in outer space. It's safe to assume that these people also knew that the sun was in the center of the solar system. That was 6,000 years ago. That was well, I don't know about the Egypt, but I'm like accurately, but I know that they were doing their stuff between 4,000 and 6,000 years ago.
So think about the way that,
And
sometimes
we're putting guys in jail for it 500 years ago.
I know, isn't that weird?
Yeah, putting them in jail for it.
Why are you getting that mad?
Because how do we go back in time?
No, I'm saying, like, why are they getting that mad?
Oh yeah,
So
exactly. Yeah. How did they reverse their wait, I don't want to say they. How did we reverse our thinking so heavily? Like, dude, as like living beings on this, like we were capable of some amazing shit.
Yeah.
Okay. With so-called primitive technology.
Right.
And primitive. And Tesla was actually shout out to Tesla because he was seriously
Not the company.
no. I'm talking
Not
about,
Elon Musk.
I'm talking about the man himself, Tesla.
Right.
He is single-handedly responsible for so much shit that he doesn't get credit for. But anyways, he actually had a really neat theory on the pyramids, and he was saying that I'm pretty sure he was saying something about when a pyramid is built, at the right angles and the right degrees on its slopes and everything like that. Naturally, with the elements that are at hand, produced by the earth and the nature of existence, a perfectly built pyramid in the right situation with the right, the right ingredients, it sort of makes a natural, some kind of, it's like a force. It's sort of like, I don't know if it electrifies, sort of, like the atmosphere or the ions in the atmosphere, but they sort of like do something. There was one guy said that they were built to preserve the dead, because like pyramids actually preserve things in a way. I don't know. I think that was some of the stuff I was getting from what this one journalist was saying, and then what this other guy was saying.
Well, yeah, that makes sense.
And then Tesla was saying that he even said that they're almost like a working.
Yeah, with the water underneath.
Yeah, like water flowing around them underneath of them, and then I think he was saying some stuff. You could tell when they're active and when they're working, because there's a lot of life around them, and it's very lush and green.
Right.
And stuff like that.
Like ones out in the jungle, yeah.
Yeah.
Aztec shit, yeah.
Yeah. I think there was another, like a dude that would just travel around. He would say that some of the megaliths he would find that were sort of pyramid shaped, he'd said like some seemed active and some seemed inactive, like they kind of weren't running anymore or something like that. Maybe because they lost one of the special ingredients to keep them. And this is a natural process. This is like this is what it is, and that's really cool. That might have been one of the coolest things or theories or whatever anyone's ever said about the pyramids, because no one really knows shit about them. So it's like it was but anyways, those people at that time were on a certain level of understanding of like consciousness. They were real big into the dead.
Maybe it was
they were on a whole different level. This was real, dude.
Maybe they were maybe it was like their device to travel.
Who knows what they were doing with
through different universes?
We don't know.
Like they're finished on this one, on this planet or this universe, and they put themselves in there. Like their loved ones put them in there. You know what I mean? And they send them back to where, and then they go somewhere different. Maybe, you know what I mean? And maybe those, even
just for like a period of time,
right?
In that transition phase,
they figured it out. And somebody told
spiritually, their energies will be just like boom.
Yeah, yeah.
Like they leave perfectly. Like it's the perfect exit from the body or something crazy.
Yeah.
Like who knows? Like that's what I'm saying. Like they don't know. See, they were tapping into some pretty crazy shit that we know nothing about. We know nothing about it.
I was telling you, I was watching that.
We don't know nothing.
That new show on Netflix. It was called the Midnight Gospel, and essentially it's just this kid somewhere on some universe or planet, and he had bought this simulator.
All right.
And what it does is he's able to go into this thing, and it'll teleport him to whatever universe planet he wants to pick from this like menu that's in this thing, and then it shoots him there. And there's like different stuff going on all the time. But I think that could be like today's version, like the future's version of the pyramid. You know what I mean? Like we might be coming close to figuring it out again.
Listen, that would be very cool.
In an industrial way. You know what I mean?
If we can get... It's so possible for us as a species to get on that level again.
Oh, absolutely.
It's so
they were able
possible
to get on it, if that theory
just blossom.
If that theory makes sense to anybody, you know what I mean?
The only thing I know for sure, if it doesn't make sense to people, well then you still have to accept the fact that these people were on a level of understanding,
right, of
consciousness and what can be done.
And maybe that is
that we are nowhere near.
Right. And maybe that's what like these religions are like creating as like a guardian angel. You know what I mean? Yeah. Or those beings. And the ones that were able to figure it out.
And what's so amazing is and then you think of Jesus, right?
And they might just blast back down at some point and just be like walking among us, you know?
What's so crazy is this predates Jesus by thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years. Like all this was going on.
Right.
You know? So what would have the religions like you said, so they had all their gods, they had like their whole different set of thing, you know, and life was, you know, like that would have, to imagine that level of where they were.
When who?
The Egyptians.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Their
like,
whole setup.
Think
bro.
about like some of the stories and stuff that they have
Oh
about them.
yeah, man.
To where people were like 20 feet high and like these gods. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
so
massive individuals.
There had to have been some. I'm sure shit gets exaggerated. Everybody
well over the
does
years,
it.
and it's so long ago.
But
yeah,
you know that there were, based on the results, based on what I see, they were capable of.
right.
It's safe to assume that there was some crazy shit going on. What some of the stories they're telling
right,
might just be true.
and it would only make
Meeting
sense.
these beings and
right?
shit. You
like,
see that they depict these like awesome.
Yeah, it would only make
beings.
sense too
It's like,
because
holy
like
fuck.
back then it was more organic. You know. Like the
Yeah.
earth wasn't tainted. It's a little bit beat up. We've beat it up. We're kind of like a parasite.
Yeah,
you know.
I don't think they were driving around like.
Right. So,
Cars and
like,
shit.
the atmosphere was a lot clearer. You could probably see way farther into space, like, because, like, there was no pollutants, you know? The only thing you're getting
Yeah, but
polluted from is,
it
like, burning wood.
Didn't stop them from inbreeding and doing crazy shit like that though, because they were, from what I understand,
Oh, they're
at one
savages,
point
yeah.
they were real big with that bloodline shit.
Oh,
So they were
right,
like,
right.
yeah. I think that's a part of the reason why King Tut was like he died so young, because he was just so sick.
Yeah, I think we discussed it.
I
That's
think-
kind of like dogs. Like, it's like when you purebred a dog, they end up having, like, so many ailments as you keep going. You know what I mean? To keep
Yeah,
that
it's-
bloodline. It's
yeah.
so... It, like, messes them up. You know? For some reason, that's just
So-
genetically how we're
But
created.
you know, I don't want to talk bad about them on that level, but
No,
you know,
yeah, yeah.
because they're just like, you know, they were just doing some absolutely wonderful things, like,
Yeah.
you know, to build a, just their engineers and their all their scientists and the people that were involved with like anything that mathematically related, anything
Yeah.
on that
yeah,
level.
Right.
I would have loved to like meet or talk to one of these people.
Yeah,
you
and
know what I
understand
mean, and
them,
just
yeah.
try to like chat with them about what is going on in their head.
Like,
Because
I
you know,
wonder
me
what
me
kinda-
being like a carpenter and shit,
Yeah.
you know, like and building and how I would do certain things and just like because I can understand like whenever they were breaking down some of the laser precision in like the internal angles of one of the structures, dude, they're so precise and what you know there's nothing there. We don't have any kind of saws or any kind of technology that can cut through that large of a. I mean, I don't know what kind of stone, if it's granite or what the hell they got in there, but when you think of like a big clean pass like that and everything, it's just everything's so it's done so well. You know, they would have had to cut them out of just basically they would just have had to cut them out of, you know, found a big ass mountain somewhere and they're just all there chiseling that damn thing out of the you know, right
Yeah,
out
because
of it.
they didn't have metal.
I don't know how
Right?
dude, I mean,
Did
I
they?
just
They didn't have
I'm not.
metal.
I mean, I'm just not sure. I mean, but what I'm saying is how they did it with that kind of precision, like
Yeah,
on that scale.
I know, it's weird.
Like, holy shit,
Yeah.
Dude,
I don't
bro! The
understand it.
biggest pyramid's 400. I think it's 400. No, the biggest pyramid's 750 feet each way. Like
Right.
at the base, like it would be,
Mhm.
you know, and then straight up, I think it's like 480 feet tall.
Yeah. That's as far away up.
Dude, I think its footprint's like 13 acres or something like that.
Really?
Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that
That's
they've.
crazy.
I'm sure that people by now have started to try to explain it. You know what I mean?
Well, like I said, that one dude was explaining it, and it was so. And listen, it was such a great explanation because the way he was explaining it seemed so possible and could be done, and it actually seemed reachable. So in my mind, the challenge of doing it would have challenged the best engineers, the best mathematicians. I mean, it would have challenged the best that they had at the time, you know, to construct that. Like, basically, some of the greatest minds to ever exist on a construction level were there at that time.
Well, could you
Ever?
I feel like if we were able to,
It's amazing.
like,
Because it's never been done. It was never done again.
well, I just think that if we were able, this is just some crazy, stupid thought that I had, but if we were able to come in contact with someone of that time, that the amount of energy that would be radiating out of them would be too much for us to even handle. Almost.
It would
be like, oh my god, because they were just so much more of an organic form. We're years and years
we're so
toxified, polluted.
Yeah,
by the time it got to us,
those were
I mean, we figured a lot of cool shit out, like a lot of cool shit. But I feel like we're farthering ourselves from organic, you know?
Yeah,
like
for sure.
But it's cool. Whatever. I enjoy it. I think this is like the greatest time to be alive. We can do so much crazy shit. Like, it's so cool, you know? It really is.
It is, you know, and
like amazing shit.
I'm sure there were some really great times in history. There were also some really fucking hard times.
Probably the generation before
the Dark
us,
Ages.
Like
there were some rough existences, man.
Yeah, like the one generation before us, 10 years older than us, in their 40s, like
yeah, we were talking about
early 40s. Those people experienced like both ends of it. Like, they actually, when they were young, experienced like when it was still not as technology based, you know what I mean? And then now they're on the other side of the fence now, and it's probably pretty crazy to them. Like us, I feel like we had decent technology since we've been alive.
Honestly,
you know, late 80s. There's a lot of technology.
Okay, so I was born in '86.
Right.
Now,
mid 80s.
I remember before we got a Nintendo, because we got the Nintendo, and we was playing like Zelda and fucking Mario.
But I'm saying that's what I'm saying.
There was
like,
the Atari.
Yeah, that's
Ryan
what I'm saying.
had an Atari. My brother's older than me. He had an Atari.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Already, we were born into that shit.
I still kind of like that shit.
And that's a technology.
Yeah,
Before that,
but it was so that was so because the phones were still like, you know, it was all 929 something. There was no area code first, and then you turned that down, and it came all the way back and all that shit. You know what I mean? Rotary. Yeah, phones. We had one of them.
When my dad's mom died, she had one of those on the wall in her kitchen.
Yeah.
We found out that
flexible cord and shit.
Yeah, we found
like 20
out
feet long.
It was a Bell Atlantic phone. Okay, we found out that she was still renting it from them.
They were charging her that whole time.
Yeah, like she was. It was a rent. It was back in the day when the phone came with the phone service. You know what I mean? Like, they put the whole joint in. There was no companies producing phones. The phone company was producing phones.
Yeah,
So they would bring the whole thing. It would be like a cable box.
That's crazy.
I mean? Like, we're gonna come in and install your phone, and they'd fucking.
That's crazy.
I'm sure they had a couple different models you could choose from and colors and stuff, because it was all artsy back then.
We're like the babies, because I feel like the OGs to me.
We're the millennials. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in my mind, the OGs are like the guys that are right now between the age of like 60 and 70.
Oh yeah.
Those would be like your OGs, because they were laying shit down in like the 60s and the 70s.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And
then now that's kind of like the platform for what a lot of us are working on today, especially guys that walked our path. You know?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
Those are the OGs. For real. Those are the guys that did all the shit. Everything was hitting in speak of that, shout out in shit Compton. That was when all that shit took off with the Crips and M Bloods and all that stuff over there, man.
When?
It was in the 60s.
Yeah, and 70s.
And then like the 70s, early 70s.
That's when it all budded,
That was when it all was, based on what I've seen and heard and read. So like that was an interesting time period, because that same sort of thing was happening in a lot of different areas. It seemed to be like, the bike club shit was hitting up in here, It hit up down there. I think it was like 70s into the 80s. It was just, you know, and like there was crazy shit was going on, man.
Yeah, I mentioned that to my grandmother the other day. Actually, we were driving through Fayette City, and I was like, yeah. I just mentioned, you know, them being down there back then, and she was like, "Oh yeah, they didn't bother nobody. It was fine."
No, no. If you was from there,
if you're from,
if you were from there,
right,
or at least knew people and shit.
Right, yeah.
But if you didn't,
that's
a different fucking story.
So.
Well, yeah.
You know how it was back then.
Oh, well, that's what I'm saying. Everybody knew everybody.
Right.
Yeah. So you was from
Small
here. You're from
towns,
here. Yeah.
We've branched out now into the farms. We're building. We built on the farms of.
Yeah.
You know.
Right.
All the neighborhoods were these main streets and everything behind them, you know, and that was it. And then you'd have your occasional like super deep wood guys that would build houses close to like the coal openings in the hills.
Well, that's what happened. That's
they'd have those little communities too.
Oh, dude, yeah, that's Bell Vernon is built off of that. That's
right.
It's a complete
coal town. Yeah, I know. My great.
That's how that came to be.
My great grandfather had a stripping company that he used to. That was his thing was they would strip the land, you know, from minerals and whatever else.
All that mine subsidence, man. Shit's caving in. Roads fucking cave in. Crazy shit. I'm actually, dude. I know where one of the last entrances.
It's open.
Well, no, it's not open. It caved in. And it caved in naturally. They didn't press it in. It was still like, it was still somewhat open there.
Where?
But it's up in the woods. It's up behind Brewer Stadium. It's up there, dude. I found it. And right at the entrance of it, there is there's like a freshwater spring. There's a natural spring there. Yeah. Remember? And listen, dude, I brought water back from that spring because I wanted to test it to see like its water quality.
Yeah.
And you won't believe it. It tested like.
Would you buy like a little pH kit?
Yeah, or we ordered one on Amazon. Dude, it's right here. Check it out. There it is. I wish we were filming because
drinking water test.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Checks over for lead and all that. Okay, so how was it? Was it clean?
Dude, it was like healthier. It was honestly, in my opinion, better than the water we're drinking.
Oh, really?
Like if
just
clean water out of the tap. Yeah, because it was real high in alkaline.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And so.
And then balanced pH.
The thing is I would say like I wouldn't start just chugging it right off the gate. Like I would ease my way into drinking it. You know.
Sanitize it though.
Dude, I drank it straight out.
Living in it.
I drank it straight out of there.
Yeah.
Fucking right. Every time. Listen,
you probably can.
Well, I did.
Yeah.
Dude, I've done it like every time I go up there. Because, dude, I catch it. It trickles through all them limestone. It trickles and it drops into this big pool that's constantly overflowing.
Right.
So like you get them drops and you.
It's filtered naturally.
Yeah.
Natural.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
So all you do is.
I'm just thinking like any bacteria or anything that could be living in it, or would it show or no?
I'm not sure. I mean, I don't know. I was just drinking it straight up. I feel like if you
felt fine.
Yeah. There was there was a bunch of us did. Jill did. A bunch of people drank that water. And didn't you drink it? Andy drank it.
Oh, okay.
Because
then it's probably fine.
Because when I was up there, the one time me and Andy went up, because we kind of went up to try to like test pan just to see if there was there was some collections to see if there was anything that over time settled.
Yeah.
And we were getting just like small, super small flakes to where it wasn't even nothing.
Flakes of gold.
Yeah.
Really?
But they were super. Yeah. But they were super tiny.
Yeah, you need so much.
Oh yeah, no, you're just gonna walk away. You know, we just weren't in the right spot. We weren't going deep enough. It was cold. We didn't have the right gear. Dude, the water was freezing. But we want to go back and dig a little deeper because the gold's heavy. So wherever it hit, it sinks.
Right.
Like it's so heavy, you know, and it goes down deep. So you gotta find. There's areas where he was explaining to me like where the rock is. There's cracks. Like you have good flow, and then you have like cracks and shit. Like
doesn't that hang over though?
The heavy stuff will fall. No, I'm talking like a split in a rock or like where two rock ledges meet, like under the water.
Yeah.
Like if he has this thing where he'll like suck up like it's kind of like it looks like that there. all PVC, and he just pulls it up and gets a bunch in there. It's like suction.
What is it? Dirt.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
okay.
he goes down in them cracks and gets all that shit out of there because everything heavy lays in there.
Yeah.
And he'll normally find like metal.
Okay.
He'll find like nails.
Okay.
And because that's where all the metal's gonna
Right,
go.
when it flows over, it just drops.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So after a storm or after a big gust and a big,
Right.
that's when you want to go and check all the different spots.
Okay.
Because if it settles in for a while, then it's settled in. But when you get big, crazy shit happens, then it can move around. You know what I mean? So you want to make sure that you keep checking and stuff like that. And we were just in that area on a hunch. We're definitely going to go back and check it out more in depth. But like I said, it just wasn't a good day. But like I said, I just used that water. I was just drinking that as my, like, I didn't take any drinks up.
Oh, you were drinking cups of it.
Yeah, dude. I took a bottle of water with me.
Yeah.
And I drank it on the way up there. It was empty when I got there. I just filled it up right in that spring, dude, and I used that to eat my lunch and shit.
Really?
Yeah, so I didn't have to take a bunch of extra, like, liquid with me.
Wait, did you bring that with you when you did it? Or did
no,
you just drink it?
No, I drank it after I tested it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't drink it before I tested it. I brought it back.
Oh, okay.
I brought a bottle back.
Yeah.
And tested it. But once I found out that was good shit.
Yeah, you were sitting up there eating
Shoot,
it, drinking it with
because
your
listen, they made that. That thing was built that way.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they designed it.
Oh.
Some of that's man-made.
Coal mining guys.
Yeah, because it's right next to the entrance. So that's the fresh water they was using. They were drinking that.
Yeah, because they didn't have it like flowing. Yeah.
Right. So they had a constant fresh water source right at the entrance of that festival. Smart. That was where I found that. That was where I found that wheel. Remember, it looked like it come off the. It was the valve head. It was like a metal wheel.
No, I didn't see that.
But it was like a valve. It was for a big valve to turn on, like on and off, probably stopping water flow or something. And I found it up in there, and it looked like it come off the bottom of the ocean. You know, it was like because
eroded. And stuff.
Yeah, the hillside was starting to fall in, and shit was starting to poke out. That was like buried in there, and I seen it, and I grabbed it. I actually made a piece out of it. It was beautiful.
Oh, really?
Absolutely, need your picture.
Yeah, that shit's crazy.
Listen, I love going into the forest. I mean,
this state, it's
here. It is right here.
We're a hard-working state. You know what I mean? It's beautiful. Yeah, the water's crystal clear.
Yeah, dude. Whenever the sun hits it, it like has like a blue sheen to it.
Yeah,
it's like amazing. Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, but I mean this is a hard-working state, man. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, dude.
It really is.
Oh yeah,
the work ethic here is crazy.
There's some tough cats for sure, ain't a doubt.
Compared to like a lot of places.
Oh yeah, for sure.
The more southern states, man, if you're looking to work down there, they'll scoop you up if you're from up here, because they already know. People don't work as hard. I mean, I hate to stereotype or anything, but
no, my uncle lives down there. Shout out to my uncle. Love him. He knows. He always says. He says.
Yeah, but he was bred here, right?
Yeah. And he flourished down there, but he said, nephew, from down here, you would do so well.
But then you got to put up with all these other people that aren't as driven.
That's why I'm not down there.
You know what I mean? You're working hard around a bunch of people that aren't working as hard.
Right.
And it's rough, and it's the norm for them, so that when you try to entice them a little,
Plus the summers down there are just brutal. Man, never.
Yeah, we definitely just from being here, we definitely have value, but just our work ethic is it's great, Ohio too, those are some tough people.
Yeah. I don't know who I was talking to the other day. We was talking about West Virginia.
Oh, West Virginia.
Was that you?
Sure.
We was talking about it being honestly probably one of the most beautiful
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah.
states. Like,
I love driving.
you drive through there, man. It
the
is
hills.
like,
yeah, the mountains in West Virginia are beautiful.
Dude,
it's picturesque.
it's stunning.
Some of those roads, like you're like, oh my god.
You're just in awe.
Yeah.
You know, in that moment that you are in fact, you're in the presence of something that's greater than yourself.
Could you imagine?
Like, there's no question.
Back in the day when there was like surveyors and stuff.
Oh man.
Just like coming up on some of those scenes, like coming over a mountain and just looking out and just seeing so far and just like how beautiful and lush and the mountains and the trees, or seeing it in the fall for the first time. They're like traveling, you know, to survey the land and like with a guide.
Oh, awesome.
And it would just be like, oh my god, it's amazing. It's beautiful. Like clear, like just amazing, you know?
It is, truly.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. I found them, bro.
What?
So this is what it looked like when I found it.
Oh, it's the wheel.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's all eroded. It looks like a pretzel. It's all brown. It literally looks like a pretzel with no salt.
And
In a weird wheel shape.
looks like it was like pulled right off the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah, it does.
All coiled
it does.
up almost in a way.
Yep.
Check this out. After
Oh, what'd you do? Did you dip it in something?
No, I just took a grinder and got a wire wheel attachment, and just started blasting on it, rust off.
Oh, cool. So now it's like it's
And I
still
worked-
got its hard.
Yeah, I got back down to the metal.
Metal. Yeah. It's
Yeah, I
silver
got back
now.
down to the metal. You can see how time, you know.
Yeah, it's warped it a little, or maybe it just wasn't as straight.
Dude,
back then.
it was still solid and strong as a damn rock.
I'm saying maybe they weren't as straight back then. They didn't have the molds and capabilities that we do today.
But
Is that a table?
No, that's just a piece of wood. I just cut
Right.
it out. I
Yeah.
just cut out the center and just put that thing right in the center of it.
Oh, just chilling.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
You didn't pour over it or anything.
No. Me and Cam did that actually. He helped
Where'd
me.
you put it?
You know what? You want to know what I ended up doing with it? Oh, here we go. Here's pictures of it with the polyurethane on it. Look at that.
Oh, nice. You did the wood. Yeah, it's beautiful.
So what ended up happening was we was doing like a Friendsmas thing. We did a Friendsgiving and then we did a Friendsmas. So we was like giving away. It was like a Christmas time.
Oh, and you were making pieces.
With a bunch of names. Well, you put a bunch of names in, and then you had like it was like a $20 or $25. That's what it was. You had to spend
like no more than 25, no less than 20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
Yeah, I've done this.
And I was like, you know what? That's
like a secret Santa.
Yeah, and I'm thinking to myself, man, I gotta make something.
Well, it's a fun game because it really shows how well you know somebody. You know.
Well, yeah. Well, that's the thing. You don't know who's gonna get what though, because it's all,
hard.
It's all just you're just putting names. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you don't know who's gonna pick you and whatnot.
Even if I know somebody so well, to think of a great gift to get them that's no less than 20 and no more than 25 is almost impossible.
That's hard.
It's really hard. It's a hard game.
What had happening was everyone was so cool. Was people was just buying shit, dude. Like people were buying they spent like $40. They didn't give a shit. They're
just breaking the rule.
Yeah, but they were just being cool about it.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
And
if nobody get mad, but it just sucks because
I just went
if like 4 people, if there's like 8 people and 4 or 5 of them go over and just say fuck it, I'm getting whatever I want because I know this motherfucker will like us, and that's all they're doing it. Then the other ones, they're like, man, no, I feel like piece of shit.
Well,
you know what I mean?
We kept it real. It was good. There was nothing crazy.
Well, I guess you did more. Oh, thank you. You did more of a friends thing. I'm thinking more like I've done it at like work and stuff.
No,
and
it was just like it was so cool and so fun. Yeah, the
feelings at work.
The people that were involved with that at the time, it worked out awesome. And like I said, I went and made that, and it took me, bro. I put some time, put some work into that bad boy, and it turned out really cool. And the person that got it was real excited to get it.
Yeah. Oh, cool. So what did they do with it? Just put it up somewhere?
Yeah, they actually the people that got it have a couple of my pieces.
Oh, okay.
She's gonna be one of the ones that we're gonna have on here.
Oh, okay, cool. So she just has it like chilling in her house, like on display. Yeah, that's cool.
I made her a river table as well.
Oh, cool.
You know who she is.
I do.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's never I bring her up.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay.
My cousin. Cuz she'll be on here along with Kayla. Chelsea and Kayla.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that'll be sick when we can just bring in a different perspective. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, they're the greatest people you would ever want to meet. Like anything that they have to say is beautiful, so it's worth hearing. You know?
Right.
You know, it's just real special. How long have we been doing this?
It's almost at the 2-hour mark. It's getting close.
I think we're about good.
Yeah.
That was good.
It was a good time.
I'm grateful. That was awesome.
One more plug for Gloo Cake.
Oh man,
it was amazing. It's
beautiful. Felt really good actually.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, I got your email too, by the way.
Oh, good. It is. It's pretty strong.
It is strong, dude. It is strong.
It's strong.
It had me lit there, right from the rip. Yeah, well, I was like,
yeah,
whew.
it's definitely strong. I would say.
I kind of muscled out of it.
Yeah. I've been trying to. I ate a couple of those combos.
Yeah.
I was getting, my blood sugar was a little low. I was getting a little shaky, but it was definitely cerebral as well as physical. I'd say, you know.
It was excellent.
Yeah, it was relaxing, but it gets you talking. It definitely does. It was a
it.
good one for something like this.
I love
Absolutely.
it. I'm firing one up right now.
Yeah, might as well, right? All right. Well, strain of the day. We would call it episode Gloo Cake.
Episode 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Episode 2. We will catch you guys again.
Good chatting, man.
Good chatting for sure.